Hey there. Hey, Kristina.
Hi, Joe.
So I am Joe Pronger Faulkner, for those who don't know me, and I'm here today with Kristina Foster to talk about our collaboration book called Absolute Will, which was released last month in October 2021. Thanks for being here, Kristina.
Oh, I am so excited. This was such an honor for me to be a part of this collaboration. And it's just been so awesome to even get to know and to read some of the, all the other authors as well. And so it's just been a real amazing journey.
Oh, I love that. And for those of you who have seen the book cover, which I absolutely love, this is Kristina's work. So this is my proof copy. It's got the gray stripe, but there you can see Kristina's, and it is just gorgeous. I just love it. And if you open it up too, I love opening it up and showing like the whole picture of it. Oh, it's fantastic. Uh-oh, we lost you. There you go.
Sorry, one of those things.
That's okay. So the internet is a bit spotty because Kristina is in South Africa, and we are also in the midst of an incoming snowstorm. So between the two of us, this is going to be interesting.
Yes. Amidst. Sorry, I've got a menagerie of animals that wants to join in, so I'm going to try to keep them out of this. So
that's awesome.
Anyway.
So the idea for this collaboration came to me earlier this year as I was still working on my first book, and I kept allowing myself to get distracted by other things on my to-do list, one of which was trying to come up with a fundraising idea for a project that my fiance Mike and I want to do in Nicaragua. Eventually, the urge to create an inspirational collaboration got so strong that I knew I needed to get going on it. I really wanted women from as many countries as possible around the world to make this a global effort of inspiring others. And I really wanted each story to have a health and a willpower aspect to it. When the idea came to me that a book collaboration would be a perfect way to fundraise, this book suddenly became my #1 priority to make it happen by the end of this year. And we did have some tight timelines.
Yes.
All of the profits from the author entry fees and the sales through the first month of our launch are going towards Mike and I building a house for a family in Nicaragua who doesn't have a home of their own. I'm so thrilled to have 21 authors in this book, Kristina and me, and 19 other amazing women from 7 countries around the world. Our authors are from Canada, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, the United States, Australia, South Africa, and Bulgaria. And we have linked arms to share our personal, vulnerable, insightful, true stories of willpower when facing emotional and mental health crises, physical injuries, and disease. Now, this collaboration has been done completely virtually, emails, Zoom calls, Facebook Messenger, and with all of us around the world, our time zone differences have made for some challenges. At least Kristina and I are in the same day together, right? I think it's Wednesday for you. It's Wednesday for me right now.
Wednesday, yes.
But it's 10 o'clock in the morning for me here in mid-Canada and 6 o'clock in the evening for Kristina in South Africa. So while I'm having my morning coffee, she's probably having dinner.
Exactly. And it's still light out though, because we have opposite seasons, like we're going into our summer. And so it's getting lighter each day. That's why you still see like it's light out still.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's getting dark here at like 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Right.
So my first book became a bestseller in 2 categories. So I was pretty sure that I could do it with absolute will. Especially after tweaking some of my marketing strategies, plus the fact that we would have a built-in book launch team with all 21 of us sharing it. This book is completely self-published, self-promoted by all of our authors, not done through a traditional publishing house. So it makes what we've done with it all the more incredible. And what I didn't expect was that we would hit #1 bestseller in 9 categories across 3 countries, Canada, the US, and Australia, and that we would hit #1 new release in 31 categories across 4 countries, Canada, the
That's
US,
simply
Australia, and the UK. It's just remarkable. And this is just in the first few weeks after the book went live on Amazon.
I know.
I just get so excited talking about it.
It's so incredible. I know. It's just, it really, really, truly is unbelievable. And whenever I update my friends and family about it, they're just like, wow, how did you do that? How did you do that? And it's obviously a big part to, you, Joe, have been such a wonderful captain of the ship, steering it in bringing us through this entire experience. And it's been just wonderful. So.
Aww. So, and the reviews on this book so far say that these stories, the reviews just bring tears to my eyes. These stories are raw, real, thought-provoking, heartwarming, life-changing, well-written, and that this book is a fantastic read. Can't put it down. The stories are truly inspiring. You feel a personal connection to each of the writer's journeys, which is what we really wanted, right? And that this book has given so much hope to others. These are all direct quotes from reviews on Amazon. So Kristina's chapter is called Miracle Scars, Chapter 3 in Absolute Will. I'm so happy to have you here, Kristina, and I can't wait to hear all kinds of things about your chapter and where you are, because that's super interesting to those of us halfway across the globe. So, so can you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and about your chapter?
Sure, no problem. I'm actually sitting right now in South Africa. We've been here for 18 years, but as you can tell probably from my accent that I am actually American. So I'm not South African, neither is my husband, but we came here about 18 years ago, to do ministry work. My husband is the principal of a school that was at first run by missionaries and, is now taken over by nationals. And he's the last one standing, last American standing there. So, and then I also have a ministry in the hospitals, which kind of goes back to my book. And if you read the chapter in my book, it's all about my journey, even starting from my birth. And so I was actually born dying as a baby. And so my ministry here as a missionary in South Africa, my birth story compelled me to start a chapter of a nonprofit that's actually from the United States, but I've joined hands and started the first South African chapter of a nonprofit called Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. And I am a professional photographer. I have my master's in portrait art. And so one of the things that I love to do is obviously take pictures and everything. So we go into the hospitals. I have teams in every major city across South Africa that are completely voluntary, and we minister to those families experiencing stillborn or terminally ill babies, and so that will never leave the hospital, or eventually so that they will have some type of healing memory of the baby. So we do a newborn session for them. So that's my ministry here that I've been doing in South Africa. So it just kind of correlated very, the reason why I say that is because it correlated nicely with my chapter. And one of the reasons why I love to share my story is because I very much could be one of those babies that we ministered to, because I was my parents' miracle child. So lots of different people have, experienced that in their lives. And so to be able to be a part of that in a ministry really just it's just something that I can't not do. It's like I'm kind of compelled to do that. So we've been here for 18 years, like I said, in South Africa, but we didn't start out in South Africa. We also have done missionary work in the Amazon, in the middle of the Amazon jungle. So that was very cool as well. And so it was just, it's been quite the journey for sure.
That is amazing. And I'm sure you have so many other stories in you. I mean, just your travels alone could be books all by themselves, I'm sure.
Well, I do, and it's exciting because even though this actually, Joe, was one of my was my first book writing collaboration, I'm actually a couple of months ago, before I even knew about this collaboration, I started writing my autobiography with my dad and my mom a little bit as well. Started out, it's going to start with my birth and go through my health journey and all the way to present day, and just talk about my autobiography, or just talk about my journey, and all the different places I've been, as well as, you know, just my life in general, the story of my medical history and all that. So it was really neat to be able to just take a small part of something and contribute and be a part. And this is actually published first, obviously, because my book with my dad is coming out sometime spring next year, your spring, in probably April, May of next year. So, but
Awesome.
so this was very exciting. It's kind of like a preamble or a like a trailer, you know, to what a little splice of what you can, you know, my book will be about.
Absolutely. That's very cool. And a lot of people, I think, do use collaborations as something like that, a little bit of a, yeah, a little bit of a sort of a teaser of what's to come in a bigger book. So that's amazing. So when you first found out about this collaboration, what made you decide to jump in?
I was actually invited by one of the other authors in the book, Jackie. She's a South African that she and I do a lot of, we're just really good friends, and we've done some different events together. And when she heard about my story, because we just were actually sitting over a cup of coffee one day, and I just started talking to her about, you know, where I came, you know, just my testimony and my story and everything. And she just looks at me and she says, I'm in this really great collaboration. You really need to be a part of this. Your story needs to be heard. And I honestly, Joe, I have never really, I didn't know people did this. I didn't know that collaborations like this existed. And so she basically, you know, gave me the information, and that's when I contacted you, and I was like, you know, hey, you know, is there still room? Because this would be, this is awesome. And I had no clue what to do, but you were great in walking me through it. So
I love that. I love that it just kind of almost fell in your lap, and your story is such an important one. I mean, they're all important. I love having such a variety of stories in this book, and all of them just told from the heart. And yours is such an incredible, I mean, it really is a miracle that you're alive.
It is.
I mean,
it truly is.
And just reading, like, I mean, you could only put 2,000 words into this book. So you really had to kind of, I'm sure, gloss over a lot of the details of what was going on in your life right from birth. Like you said, you know, you were born dying, and it's remarkable what you have done with your life and with your health. And yeah, I can't wait to read your own book, actually.
I can't wait to read it either. No, but I just it's been such an honor for me, and it's very exciting to see, not only to get it gave me a voice. It gave all these women a voice. And you know, it just was really neat to, I was a privilege to be part of the beta reading group that got to read all of the stories before anybody else got to, with a select group of women. And it just really blew me away how it actually, it read very easily from one to another, and just everybody's stories just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They just kind of weaved together seamlessly, really. And it was just really neat to be a part of that. And as well as the book cover has been, this is something that I'm really, really proud of, because it's just, you don't really realize it until you actually hold it in your hands, when something that you worked so hard on, and with going back and forth and back and forth, that when you actually can hold it in your hands and then just say wow, and see something that you designed and you've been able to have a huge part in this was really a great honor for me. And it's just something about seeing it come to life, be in 3D instead of just like on my computer screen.
Absolutely.
So
yes, there really is something to, and as far as like the same goes for writing your story, and publishing it, not just the cover, but actually having your story in a real live book. It feels different than just posting about it on social media or writing it in an email to someone else. So, or even talking about it in a video, and the writing process itself can be very different than telling people about your story, right? So it's the writing brings out different experiences for different people. So how was the actual writing process for you? And did anything surprise you about writing your chapter when you started?
What the biggest surprise to me was that I was writing this over and over in my mind, like, because I'm working on the book with my dad and everything, I could have chosen any part of my life really to put in this one chapter of Absolute Will. Because like you said, I am, I've got my entire life is up here and I'm regurgitating that now. But one of the things that I didn't want to do was I didn't want to just use something that I'm going to already have in my autobiography with my dad. I wanted this to be able to stand on its own and uniquely and be something that's written differently and everything. So before I even put anything down on, paper or whatever, I rewrote my chapter about 40 million times in my head. Even just the first paragraph, like, how am I going to start out with it? So what really surprised me was when I actually literally sat down to write it. I wrote it in one take, and it just kind of poured out with me, and I just kept writing and writing. And then I had, on my computer, I had the little making sure my word count was fine. And honestly, that I didn't have to go back and like take out huge portions. I didn't have to do a rewrite or anything. It was kind of like when you do a movie scene and you just like, first take was it, we got it. And so that's what really surprised me, because I have told my stories so many times that the way that I was able to write it, and it just kind of, put it out there on, for this book, it just flowed, and it was like it was just ready to be told in that specific way and in that amount of space. So, and exactly what I needed to say was what came out. So
That is remarkable, because usually there is so much back and forth, draft after draft, and more edits and rewrites and all those things, or people sometimes even change their mind about the perspective they're trying to give or what part of their story they were like. So for you to just decide, okay, I'm just sitting down, I'm writing it, there you go, here you go.
Really, it was just like that, and it shocked me so much, because I wasn't planning on having to sit there and mull it over and rewrite and scratch it out and do it all this stuff. And it surprised me too. That was my biggest part.
That's awesome. So with you already authoring your own book with your dad and having been through this collaboration, do you think there's more for you in the future as far as writing? And would you be in another collaboration at some point?
I actually was asked to be in another collaboration. It was funny because just recently I'm in another collaboration that's coming out in January. And
Awesome.
it's all about, it's a complete different side of my story that I actually never thought that it applied to me. But the more that I spoke about it with the coordinator of this, she looked at me and she says, you know, yes, it does very much apply to you. And it's going to be all about successes in infertility. And I didn't realize that that was part of my story, you know? So, but it's true because of all my medical, and you'll see in my chapter, that I was told I would never be able to have children. And so because I did not literally have what it took to have children, they took and damaged and took out stuff from when I was a baby, so much so that they said, you won't ever be able to have children because it's beyond capable. Your body's not able to, it doesn't have that function anymore. And so, you know, that's truly part of the miracles, is that I have two beautiful, you know, two beautiful daughters that I was not supposed to have. So,
And at least
in that,
the first one was a surprise for sure, right?
it was. So, but in that way, I guess infertility is part of my story. So it's exciting that I'm going to be able to also be in a collaboration that way too, and tell that part of my story. It never really thought, I never thought of it much that way, but anyway, so.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And your story is super cool because yes, you were, like you said, you had pieces of your body removed and were told that because those were missing, you would never be able to have your own kids. And then one day, there she is.
Exactly. You know, a flu turned baby.
I love that. And I just love how your story flows through that, like the telling of it as well. It was so well written. I love it. So what's your top piece of advice for someone thinking that they might want to become a published author?
The first thing I would say would be to just investigate it, do it. Just sit down and write, first of all, and then there's so many different ways. I had no clue that it was not easy, but I mean, there was just so many options out there for you. And so, yeah, just start asking, and first of all, sit down and write it, get it out of your head and onto the computer or on a piece of paper, whichever way works best for you. And tell your story, because everyone has a story and everyone needs to be heard. And your story is just as valuable as anybody else's. And only you can tell the story the way, because it's your life and it's your story to tell. No one can tell that story for you. So yeah, that's
So
your
true.
privilege that people need to hear.
So true. I love that. That's just, yeah, you nailed it. That's fantastic. Great advice. So what else are you up to? And what's going to be for you going forward after, I mean, you've already got 2 books now that you're working on, but what else are you doing?
Well, this will be my 3rd. I mean, this is my 1st, and then I've got the 2 coming up, so which is I'm excited about. And then, well, pretty much, yeah, I actually love each day. I try to make it my goal to share my story with a new person, somebody out there, or just befriend them and share my successes with my health and my journey through my health issues. And so that's what I make it. That's what I try to do for people, and to help them live their best life, because really, truly, we're here to serve others. And so if I can serve and meet a need in that way, by listening to what others are speaking to me about, and if I can help them meet a need or serve them by sharing my story, and they can benefit from that, then that's what my passion is to share what has helped me along my journey, and what every day looks like to me, to someone who has grown up with chronic illness, which you know a lot about, fibromyalgia, all the stuff that comes with the result of your body going through so much trauma as a baby, or growing up with a lot of over 17 operations that my body's gone through. So when you have that trauma in your life, you really need to just bring it all back and focus on what is going to give you that quality of life. And so I believe that journey needs to be shared as well. And so I love helping others, give them hope, and just say, listen, there's hope. You don't have to feel this way. I've been where you are, or I've probably experienced what you're experiencing. And let me tell you what's helped me, because, it just might help you as well, or we can find out together what's going to help you. So that's my passion, and that's what I love doing going forward. So yeah,
that's amazing. And your story is such an inspiration, because you basically didn't have hope for something that a lot of people take for granted, right? Just having babies. And so just that part, or even, then there's also your survival from childhood and all of the surgeries that you've had, and all of these pieces to your life. Any one of them is a huge inspiration to other people who have maybe given up hope, or think that it's not possible, or, they need some kind of like glimmer in their life, and you are offering them that. And I just love that.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and also maybe, as I know this is also your part of your story as well, and you've also written a book on it, but it'll be a big part of my autobiography as well, especially towards the end. But also I love maybe giving people, maybe there's someone out there that has gone through their own medical journey and has had, chronic pain or chronic disease, or been diagnosed with something that seems insurmountable. But I just, if our stories from this book can just help them see that they're not alone, and that someone else knows how they feel, and someone else has experienced it, they should reach out to us. And, not just me, but for any of these stories, there's a story in this book that that resonates with so many things out there, so many people out there. And so if one of these stories resonates with them, they need to, we would love to, each one of us would love to speak to them and just really help them. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've enjoyed getting to know more about Kristina and want to connect with her, you can do that through her website, Kristina Searles Foster, which I know I said it wrong. KristinaSearlesFoster.com, but it's actually spelled Searles, so that you can find it. And I'll actually type it into the bottom of the video link too. And also her family ministry website, GoodHopeMinistries.com. Kristina, thank you so much for being in this collaboration and for your time today. I'm so honored that you chose to share your inspiring story in Absolute Will.
Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for putting this all together. And I'm so honored to be a part of this. And it's It's been one of the best experiences of my journey and of my life, that to say that I can be a published author and to do it with such amazing women and linking arms with people like you and other authors of this book has just been a highlight of one of the highlights of my life. So.
Oh, wow. I love that so much. Thank you. I just get chills hearing you say that, because I really had such a vision for this book that not only did I want to inspire other people, but I really wanted such a close-knit group of women to come together from all around the world. And a lot of us didn't know each other. Some of us knew, one or two others, but as a collective group, we've all gotten to know each other. And I'm truly honored. And I just love the family feeling that, we have amongst our group now. And yeah, this has been a highlight for me as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's been great. And now I have 20 other friends from all over the world that, that I've connected with. And so thanks for bringing us all together. It's just been awesome.
Oh, you are so welcome. All right, we will chat later.
So,
Bye.
thank you. Bye-bye.